Goodreads came out with a list of the most popular books of 2026 so far, and I have enjoyed a lot of the ones on the list, so I thought what better place to get recommendation for a reading vlog, so that's what we're doing. I have 5 books and I'm going to try to read as many of them as possible this week. So the first one is Yesteryear. It's arriving tomorrow. I've ordered it because I've been seeing this book everywhere. It's a satire. My female character is a trad wife influencer and she is sent back in the 1800s living the lifestyle that she's been promoting. And everyone has thoughts. I've heard mixed things. I don't want to have any spoilers, so I'm reading it this week. Absolutely. One that I do have from the library is The Correspondent. This one is written through letters. I believe the narrator is a little messy, which I feel like has worked for me in the past, like Lady Susan by Jane Austen. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I have been really wanting to read My Friends by Frederick Backman. I have tried a couple of his books and I know that he tends to play with your emotions a lot, so I'm expecting the worst, but the best also. This one is following friends through a special summer for them. I believe this one is sad though, which I feel like that cover does not give that vibe, but I have to prepare myself mentally. For a little variety, I do have a mystery thriller. This is My Husband's Wife by Ali Finney. This one also came out in the last year. It's been getting some hype. I'm curious to see if she will work for me. I've tried 2 of her books and they were so I want to give her like a second last shot. We'll see how it happens. And then last but not least, I do have The Names, which I thought this was historical fiction, but they put it in the contemporary category, so I will have to see also what happens with this one. It's been also getting a lot of hype. So I have my work cut out for me. 5 books. Again, I'm going to try to go through as many of them as possible. I have a good feeling. I mean, they're popular for a reason, but at the same time, popular doesn't mean best, so we'll see. Is there room for me? Can I come in and read with you? I finished reading The Correspondent, and I don't think you can finish this book without having strong opinions about it. The main character basically is very isolated, but her whole life has sent letters to anyone and everyone, really. And throughout the novel, you get to know her a little bit more and why she's like that. But she sends letters to authors that she's liked or didn't like. A bunch of people. She exchanges correspondence with people for years. I appreciated that she's an older female character. I've mentioned in the past that I got tired of reading fantasy books where the main character is like 16 or 18 with like weird colored eyes or hair. So she's in her 70s, which again was different. She is definitely on the spectrum, but she's also just prickly in general. I took a picture. I will insert it, but she exchanges letters with the son of someone else. He's most likely on the spectrum too, so they kind of get along. And he talks about not liking his new psychiatrist, and she sends a letter to his father saying like, are you sure he's not like a pedophile? So I think she's also, you know, just a little special in general. You kind of get to know more about her past, why she's the way that she is. She's, again, very isolated, not close to her family, some secrets in the past. There are also some of the letters that are unsent. So that's, again, something to discover later on. And then some anonymous letters that are sent to her also that are kind of threatening. You kind of get to know that too. She sends letters also to authors that she likes because she reads a lot. And there is one, I think it was to Anne Pratchett, which I still need to try her. But she was inviting her like, oh, I have a guest bedroom, you should come. I mean, like, at the end of the day, authors are just real people, but like, you know. I did laugh at the fact that she at one point was reading To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, which I just read and really did not care for. I will just always take the time to mention how much I didn't care for it because why not? I will say I wasn't convinced for the majority of the book why everyone was talking about it, why everyone was liking it, but it did win me over with the last portion of the book. You kind of discover again more about her reasoning of why she is the way that she is and how she develops deep connections with anyone and everyone, really. And it's useful. I feel like that's an art that people have been losing, like having connections, like, oh, you need this, I have a friend of a friend, you know, like she has this community that she's building through letters and she just finds it easier to connect with people with that distance. So again, there are some of her trauma that you learn through the novel. So the ending was a choice, but I overall enjoyed it. Throughout the novel, there are definitely some decisions that you question if she's okay and like why she's choosing to do all of these things. So yes, I understand why it's a popular book club book already. I feel like every book on this list either have been picked up at by a lot of book clubs or will, because they all came out in the last like year, max 2. So I get it. It's not my favorite book, but I definitely have strong opinions. I understand why it would be, and I would have loved to read that with other people. So for me, I think this is going to be a 3.5. It was enjoyable. I'm glad I picked it up, but not a favorite. So let's pick something else. I already know what I'm picking because Yesteryear did arrive and I have been dying to read it. Everyone has been talking about it and I need to know what the hype's about. Well, do I have thoughts? This is really fresh, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I might, adjust some of my thoughts with time, but I didn't check any reviews. I've avoided everything because I just wanted to kind of see how I felt just by myself. I'll probably go and look up some afterwards because I feel sometimes people, whether you agree or not with them, they will say something that just helps you pinpoint more of your thoughts, because I have mixed feelings about some things, but this had to be one of my most anticipated read of the year. It has been absolutely everywhere. Everyone has been talking about it, and it will continue to be the case now that I've read it for sure. I read 400 pages in 2 days, so it's definitely unputdownable. The premise is obviously super intriguing. You're following a very popular tradwife influencer, and she is sent in the 1800s, but you're also following her. There's a timeline where she goes to university, meet her husband, kind of to see how she became so famous. So that's an intriguing premise. She's sent in the 1800s, she gets, what she wanted kind of thing. It's a satire. But I will be dividing my thoughts from how I felt at the beginning and then at the end, spoiler free. So at first, obviously, it's kind of funny of an idea. Okay, she's gonna get what she wants, fine. But I appreciated how she was being portrayed at first as a smart woman, that she knew exactly what she was doing. Because I feel like there's this idea that right-wing women, tradwives, don't know what they're doing, they're dumb, or that they're naive, they're victims. And actually I have 2 really good nonfiction to recommend. First off is Right-Wing Women by Andrea Dworkin. That was published 40 years ago. I read it earlier this year and it's still very relevant. Do recommend it. And also I would recommend They Were Her Property, which is about the role of white women as slave owners in the US during slavery. Basically, the thesis of the author is to show that they were active participant, they were not naive, they were not, victim of the patriarchy here, they were benefiting in many ways, including financially. So again, that's what I thought the author was going to do with this, that she was going to show that, no, they're fully aware of what they were doing and the values they're upholding, what, that includes. So that's how I felt at the beginning. The ending, again, spoiler free. Whenever there's a premise that is kind of unique like that with time travel, for example, I just want authors to choose something. Like I've mentioned how 95% of the time, I don't feel like the author should leave an open ending. It makes me feel kind of angry. I feel like it's your job as an author. Just pick something, commit to it, and do it. That's all I want. And I appreciate that the author did do that. She picks an ending and she goes for it 100%. So that was interesting and appreciated. I will say, in terms of what I was mentioning from the beginning, I feel like she could have went a little deeper in some of these, I don't want to really say lessons, but like messages. I feel like there could have been a little bit more exploration into it, but overall it was super entertaining. I understand why this is everywhere. Everyone has been talking about it and how it's going to be continued to be talked about. And honestly, I had a lot of fun reading it. So I think I'm going to round it up to 4, but I am really, really curious to see how others are going to feel about it. I will actually just right away give my copy to someone else because I need someone else to read it. I want to have discussions about this book so badly, but again, I have some mixed feelings that I just need to give myself a few days to think about because a lot happens. Okay, like a lot. Honestly, I'm having so much fun this week because one of the benefits of reading the most popular books of the year so far is that you kind of get to experience, okay, you know what we don't get to experience anymore? I feel like growing up, there would be trends where everyone was watching the same thing, reading the same thing, like the Hunger Games or Twilight, or whenever everyone was playing Pokemon Go. Like there were trends and you could just all participate. You had this community, this excitement, and I feel like we've lost that because we're bombarded constantly with so much content that nobody's watching the same thing. Like even right now, like Love Island is playing. I'm not watching it this year, at least not so far. And I feel like I don't have that to talk about, but I'm watching other things. Other people are not watching it. Like I've started watching Widow's Bay, for example, but like no one around me is watching it. So like I can't talk. And I feel like reading a bunch of really popular books is giving me a hint of that, like just a little bit, because once I've read, I don't know, like maybe not all 5 this week, but like however many I go through this week, I will be able to discuss these, I'm sure, with at least a couple people throughout the next year because they're so popular. So yeah, I'm having fun. Do you miss that too? I feel like it was so fun when everyone was reading the same thing, watching the same thing at the same time, and it lasted. That was the difference, right? Everyone read the Hunger Games and there were the movies afterwards. So like it's a couple years of having that. Or like Lord of the Rings. Like everyone had that for a couple of years. And we just don't have that anymore. There's just too many things constantly. And by the time that people know, the show has been canceled. Right? Anyway, I feel like I just appreciate what I'm doing to myself. Like it's a gift to myself for the next year. You know, I'll be able to discuss these books with so many people, and I'm going to force feed these to people also. And even though I'm not giving so far these books 5-star, I feel like you don't need to give a book 5-star to get something out of it. I feel like sometimes it's almost more fun or as fun to read books you have mixed feelings about, because then you get to know yourself a little bit better. I feel like maybe I'm going into this a little too deep, but like I get to explore, why do I have mixed feelings? What's making me uncomfortable? What do I wish we had done differently? And again, that's when going and reading other reviews or force feeding this book to other people so I can discuss this with them will bring me. But yeah, all of this to say, I'm having a really good time. I feel like 2 books that were just so popular, and I've been, especially this one, I've been dying to know why everyone was talking about it. I had put my name on the library list, and it was like 444th, and I just could not take it, so I got it. I own my copy, and again, I will be... I already know who's reading it first. I took some notes because I put post-its, but like I hate decal pages. And Claudia's been eating my post-its, so I just like gave up and I take notes now. Yeah, I was mentioning there are definitely a lot of cliches, but like in an entertaining way. Like I had fun. There are definitely things I did not see coming too. I feel like it didn't go as deep as I wanted, but at the same time it went deeper than expected considering like, how it starts, but it was fun. We gotta choose my next read, and I think I'm gonna go with My Friends. The cover just screams summer, and I know it's supposed to be sad, but like maybe something a little more serious after this might not be a bad thing. A book that yellow has no business being so sad. This was a lot of trauma. I know the author means for this to be also a hopeful book, but right now I'm not feeling it. I'm adding this to my list of books that I felt the need to hug after being done with it, because why would you do this to me? I understand why it's one of the most popular books, but why would you do this to me? Listen, I want to start by saying that if you hid the name of the author from the book and asked me to guess who wrote it, I would have said Jenny Nelson. Because I've read 3 books by her. I think her most well-known one is I'll Give You the Sun. And all 3, you are following very artistic characters. So the writing is very lyrical, heavy on, you know, the metaphors. And they're all about grief. And I feel the exact same way about this one. And like her books, this one kind of reads YA. I don't know if it's meant to be or not. But like they're so similar. I could have sworn it was her. Anyway, premise-wise, you follow main character. She just turned 18. She grew up in the foster system and she lost someone very important to her. And she has been obsessed for as long as she can remember with this specific painting by this famous artist. And this was the first painting he ever made, and it represents, you know, his friends. And throughout the novel, she will learn the backstory of that painting, that special friendship between the artist and his friend he grew up with, specifically between the age of 13 and 15. That's what the book is about. And obviously grief, important, and artist, this idea of like being one of us, you know. And I don't know why my eyes are burning. I think it's my cream because, oh my God, I was not crying, but if I do this, just bear with me. Because I'm trying to power through. Because I need like to watch something to stop crying. Yes, deep sadness, but there's also, I think, a layer of nostalgia because these kids, for those 2 years that we're mainly following them, they are growing up in a hard situation with their family. That's not what's nostalgic. But like they're spending all of their time, especially again during the summer, outside. There's no technology, and like it's something that I feel like kids don't necessarily get to experience nowadays. But yeah, they would just, wake up in the morning, go outside, and only come back to sleep. But they all seem to have some various level of neglectful or like violent family members. So you have these difficult situations, and there's this one kid that is talented. He can draw, and they decide that they should sign him up to participate in this competition, and he could have his painting on the wall in a museum. So there's this pushing him to, try to succeed in life, because if one of them has a chance to make it, it's him. So yes, there's just all of these things. Difficult childhood, some potential, trying to get out of it, get out of that small town. And I always like stories close to the beach, again, smaller towns. And yeah, I liked it. But yes, it's heavy on the grief and sadness. But yes, it's meant to be hopeful. Just right now, I'm not feeling the hopefulness much. This was really good. I don't know if it's going to be a 4 or 5 star, somewhere in between. I really liked it. I understand why it's so popular, but right now my eyes are burning and it's distracting. I feel like, yes, it's a good summer read in the sense that a lot of it happened during the summer, and go to the beach, and but at the same time, don't be fooled, okay? I know it's bright ass yellow, but it was such a difficult read at times because I could not put it down. I feel like that's been the theme so far this week. I just keep reading books that I cannot put down, so I completely understand why they're so popular. And I would also still qualify this as a book club book, because everyone's gonna have thoughts. Oh my gosh, I'm going through a lot of emotions this week. So was this worth reading? Yeah, I think so far it's the one I've enjoyed the most. But again, all 3 so far, I would enjoy talking about them to someone. So if you have thoughts about this one or any of the other ones, but so far it's the best one. Maybe not the most entertaining one, but yeah, it's gonna stick with me, unfortunately, for a while. But if you have read Jenny Wilson and this one, I would be curious if you also see the similarities, because I feel like they have a lot in common. And if you've really enjoyed this one and you don't mind reading YA books, I would highly recommend her other books, because her books, see what I mean? Like, clearly in my brain there's a huge connection. So I don't think I'm gonna have time to read the last 2 books, but I think I could stomach a popcorn read. So maybe My Husband's Wife, because I don't know what The Names is about, but like right now after this, I cannot take anything emotional, like, at all. So popcorn read it is, because I'm taking a break tonight. It was too much. Let's be real, when you're following kids, if you get emotionally invested, it's too much. Like, even if you follow them later on when they're adults, no, I still feel bad for the kid version of you that went through all of this. I finished My Husband's Wife, which I realize this is my 3rd book by the author, and every time I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna continue, but I keep getting curious because everyone loves these and I want to love them too. I will say, this is probably the best book I've read this week, format-wise. Like, whoever was responsible for design choices, you deserve a raise and a kiss on the forehead, because this has to be the floppiest book I've ever read. And it was the best experience this week. All the other ones are like hardcovers or like ebooks. No, this was just wonderful. I want every single book to ever exist from now on to be like this. It's just like, when you read and you can do this and like it doesn't crack the spine. Anyway, premise-wise, the first chapter, you follow my character, she's going on a run. She just moved from London with her husband to this smaller coastside town. And I feel like, in general, mysteries with small town, always a great mix in my opinion, and especially during the summer when they're close to water, even better. So she's on a run, and she thinks about, her life decisions. They just bought this cute little house, and she's excited because that night she's going to do her first art exhibition. She's a painter, and yeah, she's excited for all of that. She also thinks about the fact that they're now like empty nester daughter's not at home anymore. So while I was reading it, I was trying to turn off my brain, which I feel like I never do that, which is probably the reason that I have so many mixed feelings about mystery thrillers or the popular ones in general, because I feel like my brain keeps trying to figure things out. And I have to also remind myself that this isn't like sci-fi. You're gonna see why, because when the chapter ends, she makes it back home to get herself ready and her key isn't working. And then the door opens and it's a woman that looks like her, that it's there wearing her dress, and she's like, who are you? And it's like, who are you? Her husband is also there being like, I don't know who you are. So who's the real Eden Fox? Could be any of them. So that's how the premise starts. You're trying to figure out what happened, who's who, who's, you know, my husband's wife. So that was chapter 1. And I tried to just, again, consider this as a popcorn read, which it is. So it's a small town. There's only like one police officer, but they finally hired a detective from the big city, and she's the one that will be responsible for trying to figure out what's going on there. And I felt like sometimes the author, she seemed to like choose her words carefully. I was like being suspicious, but again, I decided to just not question it. Because at first I was confused, like, you know that they're gonna go to your art exhibition at night. Like, why do you not break into the house like right away? But like she runs away instead. Anyway, I was trying to not do that throughout the whole book. But you know, it's a small town, so I feel like there's always like little secrets. There's animosity between some characters. And I was enjoying it for what it was until the second half, which I feel like at that point you start going into different characters' head, and like suddenly they just have these long monologues giving you all of their secrets. And it's like, why do we suddenly acknowledge those and not in the first half of the book? So I feel like, again, this is my third book by the author, and I feel like I don't really care with the way that she writes them. Like, I'm thinking rock, paper, scissors, for example. In that one, there's like, I feel like it's convenient that one of the characters has like face blindness, which like, in a mystery like that, it's like kind of an easy out, I feel like. I don't know how to explain it. And even the other one, is it Sometime I Lie? Something like that. In that one, there's just so many twists that at one point it feels forced. Like, of course, you're not going to see it coming when there's like 10 of them. So I don't know if it's just me that's being extra picky, if, again, I tend to overthink. But I tried not to with this one, and it was okay. I will say, the ending, the last chapter, was good. I don't know if it's opening the door to more, but I don't think I'm going to read more by her. Like, this one on its own, that was fine. I enjoyed myself for what it was. Again, it's fun because of the format. Listen, it's serious. Okay, it is that serious. I feel like it makes such a difference. But overall, the actual story was just okay for me. I'm kind of sad I don't have time to read the names because I've heard great things also, but I couldn't have any brain cell left after, again, my friends. I'm still reeling from everything I've read this week, I feel like. So the popcorn read was good. I feel like if you're just looking for a fun, you know, mystery thriller, a beach read, it's not a bad one, but I don't think she's an author for. I feel like it sucks that I'm struggling so much to find mystery thrillers that I like. Like, I do think that I tend to like the ones with sci-fi elements more, but I feel like I just need to find other places to get recommendations, because again, I feel like the really popular ones on Goodreads, they don't work for me. It's like Frida McFadden, this author, there's a couple ones that are really, really popular, and they just don't tend to work for me. So this is going to be like a 3-star. It was fine, but, you know. With that said, I had a great time this week reading all the, you know, most popular books of 2026. I would try more from this list. Like I said, I will probably try the names soon. I can't wait to look at more reviews, hear more thoughts about these. Again, would love to hear yours. If you want to give any like spoiler discussion, make sure again to put in big spoiler in like the book you want to discuss, because I don't want anyone to get spoilers in the comment section. And with that, I am 4 books down. I have read 4 more books this month. I feel like I'm really happy with that. I will put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, including the list where I reviewed all the most popular books I had already read. And then I'll also put my unhaul, because they're here right now, but I filmed the video, so off they go, like 50 books that are off my shelves, which very happy about that too. I'll see you there. Bye.